Hi, I'm Janet Balis, and I'm EY's Global Advisory Leader for Media and Entertainment and our America's Marketing Practice Leader. And I'm thrilled to be here with Gail Horwood, who is the Chief Marketing Officer for North America for the Kellogg Company. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Janet. Happy to be here.
So I'd love to just start with what you see as the biggest challenges and opportunities as a CMO today. It's such a dynamic space. And in so many respects, I look at the CMO as less of a chief marketing officer than a chief dot connector. Does that resonate for you at all?
I love that. I haven't heard that. I consider myself a bridge between marketing and sales. I like to talk about the blurred lines between demand creation and demand fulfillment. And you have such a changing landscape where it's no longer possible to operate in silos. At companies of the scale of Kellogg and other big CPGs, we had gotten far away from bringing those two pieces together. So the idea of being really concerned about how the shopper is shopping as we're doing creative ideation, creating strategy, understanding the behavioral impulse and why people pick up our products and use them, it's critical to think about the entire funnel. And in the past, that was a job done by multiple teams that rarely spoke to each other. So I do consider myself the bridge and the dot connector, bringing those pieces together.
And so what are some of the ways that you bring that transparency to life and break down the silos? It's probably not just about sales and marketing, but the entire C-suite needs to be on the same page and really appreciate that full journey for the customer.
Yeah, I think the way we do it at Kellogg is we have an integrated brand building scorecard that's shared with our C-suite on a monthly basis. So there's really no discussion about what the metrics are. It's really looking at our performance. So we don't spend a lot of time compiling data, worrying about, spinning the numbers. It's really basically looking at the same metrics and the dials and really understanding which levers we want to pull. What's exciting at Kellogg is we've really prioritized brand building as part of our growth strategy. We're really interested in growing top line while being very focused on the bottom line. And so we all understand which levers we're going to pull in when. And then it's our job to execute flawlessly and seamlessly across that funnel.
So what's interesting to me right now is I think the levers have to be balanced between short and long-term considerations, especially when we're investing in data and technology. It may not have a return in the very, very short end of the spectrum. And similarly, if I think about the funnel, we're so focused on data-driven marketing and digital marketing and outcome basis as a form of conversation that obviously top of funnel and brand building is still important. So
Right.
There are these dichotomies that we're facing. How do you think about that in the context of the levers?
I mean, it's complex. Our brand building scorecard includes both short and long-term measures. So we do have brand equity, we have penetration, we have marketing ROI, the efficiency of how we're investing our brand building dollars. I think it can be challenging because there's so much marketing technology out there. And so rather than over-invest in all the technical solutions that are presented to us, we've really focused on what outcomes we're trying to drive and try to build the stack accordingly. There's always a danger of over-investing or getting ahead of yourself, but we've been really careful to define the business use case. In my observation, that's something that's overlooked, and overlooked by a lot of people who are building stacks. So there is so much wonderful technology. The promise of it is incredible, but how to apply that technology where you are in the maturity curve of how to adopt it, because it's not just technology, right? It's people, it's process, it's systems, it's all of it working together.
I couldn't agree more. And so often we find that people are building a first-class tech stack, but if you haven't thought about all those other levers, you're sort of out over your skis a little bit.
Yeah.
So how do you make the business case for some of those investments? I know you made the move to bring Adobe into the equation 2 years ago.
We really focus on both near-in and longer-term objectives. So, for example, with Adobe, one of our first implementations was digital asset management. So really focus on how to make the work more efficient and make the assets work harder for us. That's a very simple use case. So we're not building a mountain, we're solving a smaller problem that's really near in, and that's making sure that both brand building and e-commerce are showcasing the same content, the same assets at the same time. Digital asset management, and we chose the Adobe stack, helps us do that. So that was our first use case. We're increasingly then layering on other solutions for that.
And for a category like CPG, obviously first-party data is a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
Having that closed loop, the D2C side that is so in vogue right now for people to talk about, it's harder for a category like CPG. How do you think about CRM or data-driven marketing in the context of the Kellogg company strategy?
What's exciting is that Kellogg has been on that journey for 5+ years and has built a sort of best-in-class collection and storage of CRM and first-party data. What I've done is really look at all of our consumer touch points and ensure they're integrated so we have a more complete picture of the consumer. So what does that mean? That means our call center data is now incorporated. That means our promotions, when we run shopper promotions, those are incorporated, and even our physical locations. So we have Kellogg Cafe in New York City, and we've ensured that we're able to opt in, that consumers can opt in to our first-party database to receive messages and offers, follow-up recipes from their experience at the cafe. So really providing that full-on sort of full consumer picture is something we've evolved into in the last 2 years, but we've been on that data collection journey for some time.
That's great, and I think that continuum between marketing and customer experience are going to continue to come closer together.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts about the future of marketing and where you think we're headed?
I think it's really important to be curious, agile, and keep learning, because the one thing, I've been doing this a very long time and I learn something new every day, and really follow the consumer, which sounds obvious, but so often we get caught up in our own systems, our own processes. If we're in meetings and we never talk about the consumer, we have a problem. So really focusing on that consumer and making their lives easier is what we're all about.
Great. Gail, thank you so much.
Thanks, Janet.